Do you remember Brian Stelter? Brian Stelter, and I don't go around casting aspersions on people's physical appearance because look at me. You think I have a right to cast aspersions on anyone's physical appearance? But people used to call him the potato, and maybe that fits. At least Brian Stelter wasn't, the guy pleasuring himself during conference calls at CNN. That was another guy. What was that guy's name? I can't remember. I don't want to remember, honestly. Stelter did a program called Reliable Sources, and he would report on media. So he would spend his time reporting on all the evil of Fox News. So Stelty's been brought back to CNN, and they had a conversation about, the election and journalism. And, President Trump is a distinct threat, an unbelievably serious threat to journalists because he is promising to slam them in jail cells, all for bad think or bad speak. And he's serious about it because look what he did in his first term. Think of all the journalists he imprisoned in his first term. All of them. I mean, if you're a leftist and you read The Atlantic, you're probably going, too long of a list to read. If you operate in reality, it's not a very long list because there's actually none of them. And yet that's not stopping the war against President Trump. And Stelter just absolutely steps on his own tongue here as he's called out during a panel appearance for defending an actual and real attack against journalists. A guy named Ryan James Gerdusky called him out. And it's a friendly war, but it's a good war to watch. My friend Tim Cruikshank knows what it is to be in a real war. Sounds like the Hunger Games, doesn't it? Tell me, Katniss, would you like to be in a real war? No, sir. Tim did that for us. 3 deployments on our behalf as a medic attached to SEAL teams, and then came back and was a BUDS instructor. When he came back into the world, he founded Bone Frog. Now, you know Bone Frog for the coffee, and if you've not yet tried the coffee, please do. It's bonefrogcoffee.com/Todd. If you've taken to loving the coffee and you like wine or you love wine and you appreciate it, then try Bone Frog Cellars. It's bonefrogsellers.com/Todd. Now, with the coffee, I can tell you about all the blends, all the roasts. I drank a bunch of it this morning. It's my go-to. It changed my life in terms of actually enjoying drinking coffee. I don't drink wine. I have had a little drop of alcohol like once in 20 years. Nothing against people who consume wine. In fact, we had a party at our house, so I could see how my friends who either like wine or love it responded to Bone Frog Cellars. And to my relief and joy, they loved it, particularly our friends who drink wine when they go tour the world. They are big wine people. Go to bonefrogsellers.com/Todd, get 10% off the wine there. And yes, of course, 10% of proceeds go to support the Navy SEAL Foundation, which supports the families of fallen Navy SEALs. bonefrogsellers.com/Todd. Here's Brian Stelter in a conversation on CNN. He's about to step on his own tongue.
Doing journalism that he does not like.
But we look at it and
didn't Obama spy on a journalist?
But Ryan, it's in all caps and
Didn't
it seems
Obama spy
funny,
on a
it seems
journalist?
wild, so people sometimes dismiss it, even though it's very serious.
But Brian, didn't Obama spy
No
on a
administration
journalist?
is perfect. But
What? No, I don't think that. I do not believe that Donald Trump did what Barack Obama did to
the Trump
journalists.
administration put Reality Winner behind bars for leaking to The Intercept.
So can we pause here? Reality Winter is not a journalist. Just to be clear, not a journalist.
Every administration is guilty of some of this.
Okay.
But the Trump
That's not the same thing. But
Donald Trump has threatened every major media company in the United States,
who did he
including
spy on?
Fox.
Wait, but Ryan, okay. All right, let's call it what you say. I think Brian's point is Trump is saying he wants to take an entire news organization off the air because he doesn't like an interview that they conducted.
He doesn't like the editing.
Can't you just, in the real world, acknowledge that's bad?
I would say that Donald Trump should get a diary instead of Truth Social. That's my opinion. That is.
There we are. Now
Sometimes
we're
you do need a
laughing
diary.
I just have to point out, you didn't answer my question.
No, because I don't think it's a serious thing. It's what we talked about last time: literal versus figurative. I don't think anyone really thinks he's going to take CBS off the air.
But what about the race?
That doesn't mean he's not going to try.
How is he going to try? How is he going to? Is he going to have?
By appointing an FCC chair who will do it.
There. Here's the dynamic about President Trump. The left is more concerned about things he says than the things that people who run Joe Biden and Barack Obama do. They did spy on journalists. They probably hacked Cheryl Atkinson's computers. They probably hacked her family's computers. They went after James Rosen. They were looking at his phone calls and his family's phone calls. They jailed Oren Shar, who works with Alex Jones, because he spoke out at January 6th. He didn't enter a building. He didn't commit violence. Ray Epps spoke out, said basically the same thing this guy said. But he went to prison for a little while. When President Trump says a thing, it's treated as if he has done the thing. The threat is this. President Trump has said about 60 Minutes there should be a full and complete investigation into why they edited that interview so clearly to benefit Kamala Harris. And there probably should be. We have ways to do this. I've said this before in the program. The media companies, the big ones, the Mockingbirds, are absolutely coordinating with government. We know this. Safe and effective, safest, most secure. We know there's coordination. Where there's coordination between the feds and other organizations, the feds take it upon themselves to say, hey, how is that going? But there's a bigger, tighter, easier lock. And it goes right back to how they covered a medical situation YouTube doesn't like us to discuss. Money flowed into those networks. Those networks took a point of view. They applied it and sent it out to Americans. There's your hook. You took federal money. Now we get to look into your newsrooms, and we should look into the newsrooms because now we have license to it. President Trump is suggesting this on a small scale, an investigation. Look what CNN and other Mockingbird media organizations backed. They stood and censored on behalf of government. They're demanding more censorship, and you have a foreign entity, the Center for Countering Digital Hate, which is a dark money group from the UK led by a hardcore leftist political hack who's now participating with the Kamala Harris campaign. And what's one of their prescriptions? Kill Elon Musk's Twitter. That's not a tweet. It's not a Truth Social post. It's a strategic plan to destroy one of the biggest pseudo or pretty decent free speech platforms in the world. I'm just hurt because I'm so shadow banned. The reality is this. Brian Stelter has to defend Barack Obama because Brian Stelter is happy to have his TV show back. Well, not his TV show, but guest slots. Congrats, Brian. Listen closely. You've had your reward.